What's up, everybody? It's your boy Devon Taylor here, aka Deezus, and this is my podcast, Deezus Take the Reel. No, this is not a religious podcast. It's a podcast where we're talking movies, we're talking life, we're talking all sorts of crazy shit. And speaking of crazy shit, man, last night was nuts. We are doing an Oscar recap for you guys today. We'll be talking all things Oscars, recapping the movies that we've seen this year. And I brought in a man who he's been on the show already, and he's the only guy I know that has seen just about as many movies as I have this year. I think how many did you have for 2016?
I'm looking at my list right now just to make sure. Because
I think we are like really close. You might have a couple more on me.
I think. Am at there's so many on this list. 115.
For 2016
For
releases?
2016.
Okay, I did beat you.
Yeah.
I had, I think, 122, I think. I don't know, something like that.
I have like 9 movies that I'm still trying to get caught up on, but at the same time, I had to watch everything in 2017.
Exactly.
So.
I'm doing the exact same thing. At least January, that's why they start off real slow on you.
Yeah.
But guys, this is, if you don't recognize his voice, this is the mustached one. It is Flick Freaks, Mr. Andrew Ormsby.
Ahoy! How are you all doing?
Yes, Mr. Andrew was on, I think, episode number 3 of the podcast. So he is back, guys.
Good to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. It was gonna be me and Tyler. We're gonna recap this. But then I was like, okay, me and Tyler will do the live stream, and then I'll get Andrew to do the recap because, no offense to Tyler, he hasn't seen all the movies.
No.
So I was like, all right, I'll bring in Andrew for this one because I hadn't had Andrew on the show in a bit either. So yeah, so we are going to recap everything Oscar related. Just a quick shout out before we get into that, guys. Make sure you check out the Patreon account. I started my Patreon campaign. We have 3 patrons at the moment, but we need to get more, guys. $1 a month makes a really big deal. I want to make this show bigger and better and do it more often and make it longer and all sorts of crazy shit. And in exchange, I will give you guys some shit. The $5 and the $10 reward tier have some perks. You can get a monthly live Skype session with me. I will shout you out on the show. I have one other perk. I can't remember what it is at the moment. I don't know. I have something else out there too. So just check out the Patreon account, patreon.com/Deezus Take the Reel. Get on there, get those perks. All right. So let's go ahead and I have a game.
All right.
I said that really weird.
I love games. It was kind of like a jigsaw sort of thing. Would you like to play a game?
Guys, I mean, I love games, and I have not repeated a game on the show yet.
Really?
I have had a new game for every single episode so far, which I'm very proud of. I'm going to repeat games, guys, because there were some that some didn't go as well as others, but for the most part, none of them bombed. Like, all the games have been fun, but we've had some that are like really, really fun. What did we play the last time? I don't remember.
The game that it was the only thing I remember, not the only thing, but the big thing I remember is
we were talking about Rebellion.
Rebellion, that was the big thing that I remember.
I can't remember what game we played though, but I know for a fact though. I have not
was
repeated.
it what was your embarrassing dealing with authority or something?
Yeah, we had stories about that, so that the game would have had something to do with that too. I don't remember. I will figure it out.
It's a good thing these are recorded and that there's a log we can go back and listen to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure by the end of the episode I'll remember what it is, just because I'm one of those people that if I don't remember something, it's going to bug me the whole time. I'm not going to be able to focus.
I have a horrible memory, so...
See,
if it's not a movie or a video game or a TV show, I don't remember it. So
see, that's what I pride myself on. I do have a really good memory, so I'm
so jealous.
So in my head, I'm like putting my own rep on the line, and this is a rep made by me. This is all me. But yeah, no, I'm just one of those people. But anyways, so we play a different game every single episode, guys, and this one is no different. The game is called Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda. So the inspiration for this game is, I was telling Andrew before we started recording, I think that this year's Oscars were pretty straightforward. Like there weren't a whole lot of surprises. There were a few surprises here and there, but for the most part, everything went exactly, what everybody's been saying all year, for the most part. Would you agree?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't, from that aspect, there just wasn't like a lot of twists or anything.
If the person I thought didn't win or the film I thought didn't win a particular category, in my head I'm like, well, it's between these two, and the other one ended up winning. So I was like, okay, yeah. There's one I was like, what the hell just happened? But that's it.
Yeah, and we both did really well in our SIF Pop Oscar pool.
Yeah.
You scored how many?
I got 17 of 22.
I had 16 and 22. Guys, I was leading all night.
Yeah.
I was literally, I was leading about 60% of the show. And I was like, all right, I got this in the bag. And then
we had a little friendly rivalry going on in the Twitter.
Because you were either tied with me or you were right behind me for that first half. And I was like, oh no. I was like, we got to do it for bragging rights for today.
Exactly.
But Andrew edged me out.
Still didn't win, though.
Still didn't win. The winner, though, only had 19. 18?
So,
okay, so we weren't far behind out of, I don't know, there were 44 of us, I think, in the pool.
I think actually there were 60.
60?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So now I feel even better.
Thanks to CinemaSins for getting a bunch of people in there. So.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun, tweeting all the people as well, because I didn't get to do my live stream. You did a live stream last night.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do mine because first world problems, internet, live stream, Ethernet, whatever.
I'm sure
dumb
you could
stuff.
have found it somewhere online.
I could. Well, somebody tweeted it, but it was like I had already deleted the YouTube event, and I was like, oh, well, whatever. I guess I'm just going to watch it or whatever. And then somebody tweeted me, he's like, hey, here you go. And I was like, well, shit. But, oh, well. But I still tweeted way too much, as I usually do last night.
It's a live event, you can do that.
Exactly. But so me and Andrew both did pretty well on our predictions because, like I said, the show went pretty straightforward. I think it went as it expected to go pretty much all year. Like, we'll get more into it because we're going to go category by category. But so we're going to talk, though, some other years that maybe didn't go the way people thought they were going to go. We're going to talk about some controversial picks, and I'm doing my air quotes right now. Controversial picks because that's what we're going to decide. Was it a controversial pick? Do you agree with it? And we're just going to kind of go through. I just pulled some random lists online.
Is this for this year or for any year?
This is for random years.
Okay.
Yeah, not this year.
Okay.
So that's why we're going to go ahead and get into it. So let's see. What's one that I want to start off with? Okay, this is a fun one because I think it is one of the most widely unanimous. Everybody was like, yeah, I think they got it wrong this year. It was 2008, I believe, when Crash won Best Picture. So how do you feel about the movie Crash, Andrew?
It's in my top 20 favorite movies ever. I love Crash.
Is that sarcasm?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think that Crash more than deserved to win Best Picture, but I'm one of 3 people that think that. So
I'm not saying that Crash is a bad movie. Okay, 2006, not 2008, my bad. But I'm not saying it's a bad movie because it's not. It's a good film. Does it hold up as much as it did at that time? That's up in the air.
Yeah.
But what it's known for is losing or winning over. Everybody thought the sure win was going to be Brokeback Mountain. Ang Lee, Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger. I have not seen Brokeback Mountain, so I can't. Good. So I can't really say whether Crash pulled the upside or not, but I think Crash is just one of those films you look back and it's like, was that like the best of that year? Like, I mean, 2008 wasn't a particularly strong year. I said it again. 2006.
That's why I'm here.
2006 was not a particularly strong year.
It wasn't. 2007, on the other hand.
2007 came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
But I think Crash is just one of those ones that gets brought up literally anytime you talk about.
And I have to defend it every single time because
that's interesting. I'm really surprised that.
Yeah.
You're on that side. Okay, so the next one we will talk about, because I love this film. Yeah. We're going to talk about American Beauty. This is the Sam Mendes directed, Kevin Spacey starring. It also had Annette Bening. It had a very young Wes Bentley, who I think is the unsung hero of that film. But American Beauty, everybody thought that Green Mile was going to take the Best Picture category. How do you feel about that one?
Well, I love American Beauty. I'm looking at my top.
That's 100. On your all-time list, isn't it?
It is on my all-time list. Actually, Green Mile and American Beauty are both on my all-time list. I'm trying to see which one's higher. It looks like Green Mile is actually higher, but I can't fault them for picking American Beauty because that movie is phenomenal. I mean, Sam Mendes has an eye for making his movies visually like extraordinary, like above and beyond what you expect. And I think the creme de la creme of that is American Beauty, the way he works with the rose petals in that movie.
The shots in that film, like, oh my goodness. I rewatched it not too long ago. It was sometime earlier than this year. But I rewatched it and I was like, man, Wes Bentley is really, really good. Like, I love that storyline. I think I think a lot of people say, obviously it's not as strong as Kevin Spacey's storyline. That's what people watch it for. We watch it for Kevin Spacey's performance, which he won for Best Actor.
Deservedly.
That was also, but I think so as well. I think it was very deserved. But again, that was also wrapped in its own controversy as well. But no, I think American Beauty is just, it does so many just really cool things in it, and just like
there's a 3-minute scene where it's just a plastic bag flying through the air, and it's extraordinarily beautiful. I mean, who could have thought of something like that? Like, I got to know the story of how Sam Mendes or the writer saw that, like, just thought of a plastic bag flying in the breeze, and hey, let's try and make this the most beautiful thing.
And if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it up. I think American Beauty is that a Roger Deakins shot? I think. Don't quote me, guys, because
I'm gonna go with it. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's a Roger Deakins, and Deakins is fantastic. Like, he elevates so many films with his wonderful cinematography. But again, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
I think they did.
An update: Crash is number 19 on my top movies of all time.
Oh wow, that is even higher than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, seriously, the scene, not really spoiling not too much. I mean, the movie is over 10 years old at this point, but the scene with the little girl and her father, in the driveway, is one of the most emotionally taxing scenes. I don't think I've ever cried harder in a movie than in Crash, honestly.
Huh. I think that the themes definitely hold up today. The racial tension, and the persecution, like that kind of whole thing. Definitely, especially with the cop storyline as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
With things that have gone on in the past 4 years, I think those themes still hold up today. But yeah, so let's go ahead and go up to the one I'm on is 1994. The 1994 Best Picture winner, Forrest Gump. The Roger Zemeckis, Tom Hanks starring film, won over Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Man, I love Forrest Gump, but gosh, those other films. I mean, that's a good year for films. And I think that Forrest Gump is just one of those films you can't help but smile every single time you watch. So it's hard for you to look at something like that and then compare it to something like Pulp Fiction, which is dark and gritty, but at the same time. And I think that's why people are a little upset that Forrest Gump won over Pulp Fiction, is because Pulp Fiction hits all those notes. It has insane violence. The soundtrack kicks ass. You can make you laugh, cry, and cringe in a 3-minute span. The "does he look like a bitch" scene is one of the most infamous, scenes. Or actually, I take that back. The most infamous scene from that is the adrenaline shot. So,
well, really, it's the dialogue of that film in general. And I don't love...
That's just Tarantino. How do you feel about Tarantino?
Okay, I love Tarantino, but it's like I'm one of those people that likes... I love Inglourious Bastards is my favorite Tarantino.
Yeah.
But I don't love Pulp Fiction like people do. I really, I can appreciate it for what it did as far as the nonlinear storytelling, as far as the dialogue, like I said, all the different kind of things going on in that film. I can respect it. I've only seen it twice as well. But I don't love it like everybody else does, but I do love Tarantino. But most people know, like movie people that I talk movies with a lot, know I don't like Tom Hanks.
Oh, really?
I'm one of the few people out there in like the small 1% of America who does not want Tom Hanks to be their dad.
He's a national treasure, man.
Here's the thing. I think Tom Hanks did some good stuff in his early days, and I think now Tom Hanks-is it his way through life, which is fine. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I've never just really felt the appeal to it. I love him in, Toy Story. I like him in Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is one of my favorite Tom Hanks. This is why I still was pro Tom Hanks.
You're on the Hanks wagon for a little bit.
But man, I'll be damned if Shawshank Redemption, like, that's one of those films, it's so good, but it hurts, and it's not a very enjoyable watch. And it's like, you watch it and you're like, man, that was fantastic, but I'm not going to watch that for a very long
like Schindler's
time.
List.
I've never seen Schindler's List.
Oh
man, it's one of my blind spots, I know. But Shawshank Redemption is one of those films for me. Like something about prison films really just get to me. Like Malcolm X is one of those films that's just like really just like. And there was another one, the Jamie Foxx the Stanley Tucci story. I forget what the name of it is, but that's the person he was portraying another really rough prison movie, American History X. I don't know. Prison movies are just rough for me. So, but Shawshank Redemption, just the story and the emotions in it. Did Forrest Gump deserve to win Best Picture? I think it was the popular vote for once. This is when the Oscars did still like choose things that the public maybe liked more.
Yeah.
Because I think Shawshank Redemption is the more, I think Shawshank Redemption is the more film darling.
Yeah. Now the Oscars are like, which one checks off the most boxes in our list of, does it meet this requirement? Does it, tell an underdog tale? Is it art housey enough? Is it, they don't, actually, I don't think they pick the best picture anymore. But honestly, Shawshank Redemption, I think, should have won that year. I really do.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption definitely deserved it. We're in agreement on that one. And the last one that I'll bring up, this one isn't on a list. This is one that I was thinking about last night because so everybody, one of the running memes of the night was, Suicide Squad has an Academy Award. This movie doesn't.
Suicide Squad
is an Academy Award winning film.
What the hell?
I will never say that sentence again. But yeah,
I thought I had a stroke or something. I was like, do I smell toast?
I'll say it was a super weak category, like, for this year.
I didn't pick it. Who did you have for that category?
No, I picked it.
Oh, did you?
Because, Suicide Squad's a lot of things, but, it's a hot mess but I'll say everybody looked really good. I loved El Diablo's makeup and tattoos.
That was pretty good.
I think Killer Croc looked really well. I hated
Killer Croc.
I think they nailed Harley Quinn. Well, yeah. Killer Croc's character aside, I think his design was really well.
No, even then I thought,
really?
Yeah, they could have done much better with Killer Croc.
I think it would look pretty cool.
But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, so...
Yeah, but anyway, so Suicide Squad has an Oscar film, and somebody created a list naming films that are like these critically acclaimed films that don't have any Oscar wins, or like they were nominated a bunch and didn't get any wins. So this is my controversial pick. So 2013, a movie comes along, and it literally brings, it was an actor that I did not like. I didn't like his middle career as kind of like a Tom Hanks thing, but this person had a really big year in 2013, and that was Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio. The forever snubbed until last year, Leonardo DiCaprio puts on a tour de force performance in Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, 0 wins that year. They lost out Best Supporting Actor to Dallas Buyers Club. They lost out Best Picture to Dallas Buyers Club, I believe. I think they won. It was either Dallas Buyers Club or Gravity. One of the two won Best Picture that year.
Either of them, actually. What year was that?
It's the the year was for 2013, but the 2014 awards. So that would have been the 86th award ceremony. But Wolf of Wall Street.
No, that was a 12 Years a Slave one that year.
Oh, okay, never mind. 12 Years a Slave definitely deserved Best Picture that year. I'll give it that. But Wolf of Wall Street went 0 for 5. Martin Scorsese, with his fantastic direction, did not win. Jonah Hill, I think he put on a phenomenal performance. I think him or Michael Fassbender should have won over Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club. I'm not that big on Dallas Buyers Club.
Dude.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio, though, loses out. No, I think it's a great film, but it's not Wolf of Wall Street, I don't think. I think Wolf of Wall Street is one of the best films, like, of all time. I think I would say it's in my top 25, I would say.
I think it is actually in mine.
And but Leonardo DiCaprio, that's the one that should have got the hump off his back. That should have been the one. Everybody thought, arguably it should have been Eating Gilbert Grape, but that's a whole nother topic as well. Going back to 1994. That was 1994. Man, that year was riddled with controversy.
I think the first year for me that I thought DiCaprio has to win was for Blood Diamond. I thought, man, if he doesn't win, and he didn't, luckily Djimon Hounsou did win for supporting actor.
Djimon Hounsou is fantastic.
Yeah. But after, there's so many roles since then. I'm like, okay, this has got to be the year that DiCaprio wins.
I think if he would have been nominated for Django, he could have won for a supporting actor. But, the thing he did with Jordan Belfort's character in Wolf of Wall Street is just, I mean, you talk about the physical scenes, you know, he won because he didn't even act in The Revenant. He just did things, and they finally gave it to him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in Wolf of Wall Street, the scene of him getting back to the car at the country club, and it's such a versatile performance. That entire movie is almost 3 hours on DiCaprio's back, and him just acting his fucking balls off. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, people say he was screaming, but I mean, you can't tell me you don't like watch his speeches and get pumped up. Like, I find myself sitting there pounding my chest whenever I'm watching Wolf of Wall Street with it because I get pumped. I love watching that film. I watched it in a bar with no sound one time, and I was still loving it.
Oh, that's amazing. Whenever I saw that movie in theaters, the Popeye scene, I actually stood up in the theater. I was in the back row, so I wasn't in front of anybody, but I'm like, this is the best thing of all time.
Like, so many moments in that movie, and I think it was also nominated for Screenplay, I believe. Was the other one. So it went 0 for 5, did not take home any awards, when I'd say arguably it could have took home 3 of them with actor, supporting actor, and I think Scorsese for directing. Steve McQueen also, but though he deserved it for 12 Years a Slave because Steve McQueen is oh man.
So good.
But yeah, so that's gonna be our shoulda, coulda, woulda on, you know, things that could have happened in the Oscars, things that didn't happen.
I have 2 I want to throw out real quick.
Yes, go for it.
So 1998, I can't believe this happened. Saving Private Ryan loses to Shakespeare in Love.
Oh yeah, I think that's a really obvious one.
Yeah, and then my second favorite film of all time, nominated for 10 Oscars, didn't win a single one. It loses to Chicago. Gangs of New York.
That's your number 2?
Second favorite movie of all time. Yeah. I mean, so here's what... So Daniel Day-Lewis loses to Adrian Brody in The Pianist.
Yeah, that did happen.
Yeah. I mean...
And then, who else? Who else was nominated?
DiCaprio wasn't even nominated. Scorsese didn't win for directing.
I will say, I will not get into a hole about Gangs of New York. I do love it, and Daniel Day-Lewis easily should have took home that award.
Yeah.
I will say Gangs of New York is Leonardo DiCaprio's weakest performance.
I love it. I think it's really good.
I think he was up against Daniel Day-Lewis, which is a tough thing to do.
I think his
and
worst
I think
performance is
DiCaprio shit his pants.
Nah. Oh, anybody who is standing across from Daniel Day-Lewis is like gonna look shitty in comparison.
And
he's the greatest actor of all time.
I see your Daniel Day-Lewis, and I raise you a There Will Be Blood. Paul Dano held his ground as a teenager against Daniel Day-Lewis, I would say, in that film.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like you just said, that's a tough task going against DDL.
Yeah.
And I think Paul Dano held his ground and put up an excellent performance across him. I think Gangs of New York is DiCaprio's weakest performance.
I think
honestly.
The Beach or Titanic is his
as
worst.
far as his big roles, you know.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah.
But so that will go ahead and wrap up. Should go woulda. But so for today, we're going to kind of switch up the format. We're going to go movies last because story time is we're just going to recap the Oscars for you. That's our story for today because it's the day after the Oscars, and of course...
We got to do it.
And I didn't think anything was going to happen from this year. I didn't know if we were going to have anything really to talk about. And then at the very end, we got Shyamalan.
Yeah. Did you see what he posted on Twitter?
Yes.
That was great.
It was great because Shyamalan, he gets it, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go category by category, break down. The Oscars, we'll say, you know, who we'll do this is the classic Oscar thing is, you know, who will win, who should win, and who should win is, you know, our opinions, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. We'll go category by category, and we'll, say who won, and then we'll talk about we'll say what our personal picks would have been.
Yeah. Even if they weren't technically nominated, I still have ones.
Yes, and we'll get into that a little bit at the end as well. Movies that did not get enough Oscar love. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go through it. Here, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm at the top of the list currently.
You can't start off on Best Picture.
I was right at the top, and okay. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. We have the 2 screenplay awards. We have original and adapted screenplay. The winner for original screenplay was Manchester by the Sea. What do you think? I think I don't remember who I actually picked for this award. I think I went the selfish route and I went 20th Century Women because that's going to be one of my picks to talk about later. So that's all I'll say for now. But who would you have picked or were they even nominated? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I have who should have been nominated, but you go ahead.
Original screenplay. I would have liked to have seen maybe take out The Lobster because honestly, I actually saw The Lobster in 2015, so it keeps freaking me out that it was nominated this year. Take out The Lobster and put in...
Yeah, that was really late.
Yeah. Take out The Lobster, put in Sing Street, and I'm okay with Manchester by the Sea winning. I still would have been really happy if Hell or High Water would have won something.
Yeah, for the ones that were nominated, I would have rather seen 20th Century Women or Hell or High Water. I don't think Manchester by the Sea. I think the script is okay. Yeah. I think it's decent. I think it
has
has
heavily on the performances.
I think it does. I think Manchester by the Sea has really big pacing issues. I think partly due to the script.
Yeah.
So next up, adapted screenplay, and adapted screenplay went to Moonlight.
Yeah. Which is controversial.
Yes, I will say it's controversial. I am so happy for Moonlight on its wins last night. I am so happy for that movie because I think it deserves it. Arrival, though, is that your pick?
It would have been my pick. But
Arrival...
here's why I say it's controversial, because Moonlight actually won Best Original Screenplay at, was it the SAG Awards or was it the
I forget which one it was, but it got into the adapted screenplay for the Oscars because his Barry Jenkins' writing partner McCraney, he wrote a short form nothing. It never turned into a show. It was an assignment for school, and it was called Black Boys Look Blue in Moonlight, and that's it's the inspiration for the movie Moonlight. So, but even though it was never produced, it was never turned into anything, but since it was a written thing, the Oscars said, nope, they adapted this. Yeah. So that's why it was not in the original screenplay category.
Such a cop-out, honestly.
But I'm happy it got the win. But Arrival, though...
I have to go with Arrival.
There wasn't a more perfectly written film this year other than Arrival because everything just clicked.
Yeah.
Everything clicked so well, and it was due to the script. But I will say, it would have been in the adapted screenplay category, but my number one film, which I'll get talking to more later, Nocturnal Animals, needed some more love.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip visual effects because I think that one was a pretty sure win for Jungle Book.
I don't think that
I don't like Jungle Book as a movie, but I think the effects they looked phenomenal.
I don't think that they were anything special. Honestly, I chose Doctor Strange for that one.
Doctor Strange did have some really good visual effects. I thought instead of Rogue One, it could have been Fantastic Beasts. I think Fantastic Beasts had some really good effects as well.
Yeah, and Rogue One had too much uncanny valley with like the Grand Moff Tarkin and the Leia and stuff like that took me out of it. But yeah, I know we said we weren't going to talk about visual effects, but here we are.
Okay, yeah. I said this was going to be 45 minutes. It's definitely not. So we'll do sound editing and sound mixing real quick. Hacksaw Ridge pulled out an upset. In which one? Was it editing or mixing?
So sound editing, sound mixing went to Arrival, and then sound editing went to Hacksaw Ridge, I think.
Which
I thought Hacksaw Ridge was going to win both of them.
See, I didn't think it was going to win either one. It just,
really?
I thought, okay, my pick would have been, my pick was Arrival
for both.
Yes, actually, my personal pick would have been Arrival for both. I think Arrival had I think the sound was a character of its own. And especially, did you ever get to see the behind the scenes on the score and everything?
Johan Johansson just killing it.
And they had a real dude making those sounds. That's what I think is real cool. But not only that, I think they balanced everything really well.
Wasn't it like
film.
a didgeridoo or something like that? So.
But I thought the Oscars were just going to give it to La La Land just because of it's a musical. So they're like, of course we're going to give it sound. But I'm glad La La Land didn't win either because I didn't think either one of them should have been nominated. Yeah. I think the sound editing and mixing is not very good in that film.
Yeah.
I thought it was I saw it twice, and the first time I was like, is there just something wrong with the theater maybe? Because the vocals and the singing were really quiet, which I get it. It's supposed to be intimate and personal and whatnot. But then I saw it again because I thought, I was like, maybe it was just the theater speakers or something. Nope. Saw it again, and it was the exact same way. I was like, for a musical, the sound is not very well edited.
See, I didn't notice it because I only saw a screener for it, so I was just listening on a TV's, crappy speakers anyway. So
I don't really care for original song because I think it was obviously going to be one of La La Land choices. Do you want to get into it for a minute?
Real quick, my pick for that didn't even get nominated. I think that Drive It Like You Stole It from Sing Street should have won.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into a lot of Sing Street later as well. That's on my list of ones to talk about. But Sing Street obviously could have. That would have been a lock. Like
That's my woulda, coulda. That's my woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Weinstein Company really shit their fucking like.
Yeah,
I'm so surprised. Like they didn't push anything, not even the soundtrack, which I think music would have. Begin Again had a nomination, but Sing Street didn't.
How did it?
That kind of surprises me. My pick for original score, also Nocturnal Animals, did not get nominated. I think the score is so fucking gorgeous.
I'm okay with,
but
La
of
La
course,
Land
La La
winning.
Land.
I'm okay with that. I picked it.
I still honestly think Moonlight had a better score. Honestly, I did not see Passengers, and I did not like Jackie.
You didn't like Jackie?
I did not like Jackie.
Holy crap. Natalie Portman. We're going to get into that later.
Okay, we'll get into that. Makeup and hairstyling. We already talked about Suicide Squad. How that happened.
Oh my.
That happened, guys.
Fucking God.
One more time. Nope. I said I wasn't going to say it again. I'm not going to say it.
The DCEU has an Oscar, and the Marvel films have not won a single one yet.
Hell, I would have understood BVS winning for best score more than I would have seen Suicide Squad winning makeup. But all right, we will go. Oh, okay. Film editing is a real big one. I've really been looking out for editing in movies lately. As my film taste has kind of grown, as I watch more movies and I actually break down more film aspects more. Film editing is something I really pay attention to because editing really can make or break a film.
Yeah.
And the editing went to, was it Moonlight or Arrival? I wish I had the
film
winners.
Editing went to La La Land.
Did it?
I think so.
Oh, well, it should have went to Arrival or Moonlight. Again, I think Arrival, the way that all the pieces fit together perfectly.
Or did it go to Hacksaw Ridge? I wish that it had bolded to
here.
Where
While I have the nominations, you pull up the winners.
Yeah, I'll go to just IMDb. They gotta have it on there somewhere.
Well, they have a winners list, but the winners list doesn't have the nominations, and I'd rather at least see the other nominations. But while you look that up, we'll go ahead and go into directing. Damien Chazelle took it for La La Land. I would have rather seen literally any of the other directors except for Kenneth Lonergan win.
Really?
I was hoping they would give it to Denny V because I didn't think Arrival was really gonna win too many awards tonight, honestly.
Yeah.
Though I think it deserved plenty of them. Of course, we're gonna get into the biggest one there here in a bit. But I think they were gonna throw Denny V a bone and be like, especially because they like to appreciate people's track record, like what they've been, and his track record is so strong, and he hasn't been nominated for anything else, Even though a lot of people don't even think Arrival is his strongest film. I do, but a lot of people don't.
No, it's my second favorite, right behind Prisoners.
See, yeah, Prisoners is, I really enjoyed Prisoners, but didn't love it. But I thought they were going to throw Denny V a bone, but they didn't. They went with Damien Chazelle. It's a great story.
I don't think there's any way you can't pick Damien
I don't know.
Chazelle.
I thought Barry Jenkins because Barry Jenkins also has a really good story, and I think they're both young. They both have, very specific visual taste, and they are these upcoming juggernauts. I think Barry Jenkins had an equal shot at winning. Mel Gibson
did go to Hacksaw Ridge.
Film editing did go to Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously Mel Gibson wasn't going to be touching that best direct. I'm surprised on how many awards it won. But
2 or 3, yeah.
But Mel Gibson wasn't touching any of the major awards. We know this.
Oh, did you hear him when he was walking down the red carpet? Somebody stopped, or one of the, they stop him and they talk to him, and they're like, "So, what are your chances? How do you feel about your chances?" And I was like, "I'm just here. There's no way in hell I'm winning." That's what he said. He's like, "It's just great to be nominated. I'm not winning. I'm just here to congratulate the winner." So he knew he wasn't going to win.
As unamused as he looked all night, I think he was just happy to be there, though, honestly, because I don't think anybody thought Mel Gibson was going to be returning to the Oscar Awards anytime soon.
Yeah, but God, you got to give that guy credit. He is so freaking good.
I am one of the people that I can separate the artist from the art. A
Me
lot
too.
of people can't do that, and I'm
too.
one person I can because, degree pending. Because there's it's all about.
It's not he's not like Bill Cosby or anything.
No, he's not like Bill Cosby. He's not like the director of Jeepers Creepers, like that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
who have actually been like convicted of things.
Yeah.
But as far as, all these, Mel Gibson essentially is just a really big asshole.
Yeah.
So Mel Gibson is one hell of a director. I didn't get to see Bloodfather, but I heard that was really good, and he had another good acting performance.
It was just a movie for me, honestly. It's actually pretty low on my 2016 list.
I skipped it because I didn't really care for it. I don't really care for his acting as much.
Oh, really?
No. I think he's a phenomenal director, and he does have some good performances, but I'm not.
I think it's ever since I was a little kid growing up in like the Lethal Weapon movies and stuff. Like I have to watch everything Mel Gibson acts in.
Early Gibson is all day.
Yeah.
But all right, so we are starting to get into the big ones. I'll shout out the animated real quick because I knew for a fact Zootopia was going to win.
There's no way it couldn't.
But I was so pulling for Kubo.
You wanted Kubo to win, didn't you?
I mean, I'm with Aaron on the Kubo. We went and saw that together, and I fucking loved Kubo, and I think it was so fucking magical.
I'm going to piss you off by letting you know what score it is on my 2016 because it is not
I remember you didn't like it as much as we did. But Kubo, man, I'm going to be talking about that here in like 3 weeks.
49.
3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be talking a lot of Kubo with Jason Lord. Jason Lord's going to be back on the show. We're going to be talking some stop motion here in a few weeks, and we are definitely going to be talking Kubo. But I think, I won't argue you, but because Zootopia was my number 2. I did like it more than Moana, but
yeah.
All right, but now we're going to get into the big stuff. Best Supporting Actress went to Miss Viola Davis. This was kind of one of those, this is her year. They're not going to not give it to her.
And I thought she deserved it.
So that was your pick?
Oh, man. It was one of the most powerful performances of the year for me.
It was... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Besides it being my third favorite film of the year, Fences.
Oh, yeah, you did really like Fences.
Man, I mean, Denzel Washington killed it. We're going to talk about him in a minute, obviously. But I thought that, besides him, I thought that one of the best performances of the year, I think I picked her as like my second or third favorite performance of the year, was Viola Davis.
Yeah, I will say I'm happy for Viola Davis. Fences is great, especially Viola Davis and Denzel, but that's about it. Fences isn't too high on my list. I think it's 24-ish, something like that. I mean, it's up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, what Naomi Harris did with Moonlight, guys, I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but I've done like research on Moonlight, and the more I like learn about the filming process of the film, the more I love it. And Naomi Harris did one of the actress roundtables, and it was fantastic. And Moonlight, she did all of her scenes in Moonlight in 3 days. So think of the different ages she had to play. She not only did it in 3 days because she was on the press tour for Spectre, James Bond Spectre, so she had limited filming time without rehearsals. So like she read the script through, learned her lines, and went with his direction, and boom, 3 days of shooting, and they were done with her shit. And I think she gave one of the most raw, visceral performances of the year. I mean, she was just, especially like when you see like how like proper and British she is in real life, like what she did with Moonlight is phenomenal. I think I would have loved for her to win it, but I knew Viola Davis would. And Viola Davis, I mean, no actress in Hollywood cries like Viola Davis does right now.
No, that's true, man.
Nobody cries like that woman does.
She'll kill it.
All right, so actor and supporting role. Man, I am tired of saying this guy's name, but I love him so much. Mahershala Ali. I said it perfectly that time.
Did you know that's actually a hyphen version of his name? It's
shortened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen the full version. I've done a podcast where I've had to mention it. I've done a video. I did like an award ceremony video. Check out the Sadamis on my YouTube channel. And I've had to say his name so many times in the past like few days, and I fuck it up every single time. But that time I said perfectly. Everyone was pulling for Mahershala.
Not me. I knew he was going to win.
I was not either. Who were you pulling for?
I was, honestly, out of every single one that was nominated there, probably Jeff Bridges or Dev Patel.
Who outside of the category?
Outside of that category for Best Supporting Actor. Let's go with John Goodman from 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Good pick. I like that pick as well. I was really hoping Goodman would have got nominated.
Yeah.
But of course, guys, you know I'm obsessed with Nocturnal Animals, and I think
Did
they
you wanna-
nominated the wrong person. It shouldn't have been Michael Shannon.
You think it should have been?
It should have been Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
I cannot stop talking about that performance. It's one of my favorite villain performances. Like, it's up there on my all-time list of villains because he is so vile and unrecognizable, and just he's intimidating. He's gross. But I mean, that final showdown between him and Jake Gyllenhaal, or the final two of them, there's two really brilliant scenes between those two. I mean, and Aaron Taylor Johnson literally stole every single scene he was in. Michael Shannon, also fantastic. I would have been fine if he would have won. Because Mahershala Ali, I love him to death. I think he was better in Kicks, which is a smaller movie he did earlier in the year.
I think he's best in House of Cards.
He's great. Don't get me wrong. And but I think his character is more important to Moonlight than his actual performance is. Because, you know, he's not in the film much.
What is it?
He's in the first act.
9 minutes of screen time?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, and this happens in the Oscars a lot, especially in supporting characters. If you have that supporting character that just stands out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he did that, but at the same time, because, I mean, yeah, he's only in the first act. Spoiler, I'm not going to say how, but but I think his presence is really felt in the third act when you see Chiron's development, you know? So his character is very important, but his performance, though it's great, I wouldn't have chose him either, but everyone knew he was going to win.
I picked him because I knew he was going to win, but...
I picked him on my bracket for sure. I knew, that was a lock.
Points are on the line. You got to pick who's
but
it
was a weird category because I think Aaron Taylor Johnson should have been in there.
I think John Goodman should have won.
I didn't. I failed. I did not finish watching Lion before the ceremony.
Oh my gosh, man, that
I can't attest to Dave. I can't attest to Dev Patel. Lucas Hedges, I was kind of surprised to see him in that category because they don't really nominate children as much.
He's not.
He's 18. Child actors. He was portraying a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
They don't really nominate teenagers and kids a whole lot, so I didn't think he was even going to be nominated. I think he's great. A lot of people don't like his character.
I thought he did phenomenal.
I think his performance is great.
Yeah.
There's still other people I would have rather seen him in there.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Bridges, I think it should have been Ben Foster.
I think it should have been Ben Foster as well.
I was really glad to see Hell or High Water get as many nominations as it did, even though it only did. I don't think it
didn't win any.
But I'm glad it was represented, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a fun one because I think actress in a leading role was a very strong category this year. I think probably the strongest. And I don't necessarily agree with the nominations to begin with. But you really like Jackie, and I'm assuming you wanted Portman to win.
I picked Portman to win, but out of the nominations, I picked Portman to win. The one that should have won wasn't even nominated, and that was Amy Adams for Arrival.
Exactly. Amy Adams would have won. She is the heartbeat of Arrival. I mean, we talked about Denny V's direction. Fantastic. We talked about the script and the score. Fantastic. Yeah. But that movie rests on Amy Adams' shoulders, and she puts the whole fucking team on her back.
Yeah.
In this movie, guys.
And she carries it.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see
it's nothing.
That was my most favorite tweet of the night last night. It was just me tweeting about Amy Adams because I was just tweeting about her all night. I was like, it's wrong. But yeah, out of the category... Emma Stone, I think was the strongest out of who was nominated. I
think Portman was way better.
I really want to see Elle. I really want to. Loving is great. Actually, it's not great. It's okay. But Ruth Negga is pretty good. Okay.
Can I say something extremely controversial real quick?
Yes.
Stop nominating Meryl Streep just because she's in a fucking movie.
I don't think that's controversial at all. I think everybody was surprised. It's literally just because her name is Streep.
Yeah. Stop nominating her because it's getting to the point where I'm starting to dislike her. Just like there was one year that everybody was like, why was she nominated? And I think the movie was...
Was it Osage Orange County?
A
few years ago.
I was like, wow, she killed it. And like people were mad, like you're just nominating her. I'm like, no, actually watch the movie. She does great. But every other year, I'm like, stop nominating her just because she's in a movie.
She's great in Devil Wears Prada. Give her all the props for that, but that's about it. She was nominated for Into the Woods. I mean, come on.
So terrible.
It's literally because her name is Streep.
Yeah.
That should have been Amy Adams in that slot. God, I had another actress who I think could have filled that spot. I can't remember who. I also arguably think Viola Davis could have been in the lead actress category.
I would have picked Dame Helen Mirren for Eye in the Sky.
I still need to get to that one.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Who? God, I have another actress who I think should have been up there, but I'm blanking right now. I also don't have my list in front of me.
But out of the ones nominated, Taraji P. Henson for Hidden Figures.
Yes,
Is that
there we
it?
go. That's the one I'm blanking on.
Yeah.
I was surprised on how many nominations Hidden Figures got, but it should have been
the one that really should have been nominated for. It wasn't.
It should have been Taraji P. Henson. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I forgot how much I love that woman, and I'm so glad she's doing movies again now. She's great in Empire. I just don't keep up with it.
I've never seen Empire.
She's good.
Yeah,
she's real
I
good. But
imagine she
oh my
is.
goodness, I love Taraji P. Henson, and yeah, it's a travesty. She should have got nominated, and in supporting actress, I would have put Janelle Monáe over Octavia Spencer. Honestly.
Oh yeah, that sass she had.
I love me some Janelle Monáe too. I love her music, but she's really a good actress. Like, she was phenomenal in Moonlight too.
Yeah.
All right, so we will get into lead actor. I think it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I'm not big on Manchester by the Sea, as you heard earlier, but I thought Casey Affleck did phenomenal. I thought if anybody was going to win, it was going to be Denzel, but it was between those two.
This was a category I'm like, it's between these two. Whoever gets it, I'm okay with. I wanted Denzel to win because I wanted the points on my bracket, but and I think that between the two, I thought his performance was better. And I didn't think that Casey Affleck was going to win because of that whole, controversy thing. But again, I'm able to separate the character's the actor's performance from their personal life. This one was a little rough, obviously, but
I don't want to piss anybody off by saying something about the Casey Affleck situation, so I won't. Yeah. But if you know me, you probably know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to start a war here.
And
but I think sorry, go ahead.
Viggo Mortensen, loved him in Captain Fantastic.
I fucking love Captain Fantastic so much. I would have pissed my pants if he would have surprisingly won.
Yeah.
People were kind of chit-chatting. They were like, what if Viggo pulls out this upset win? And I would have loved it. I mean, I love Captain Fantastic.
I would have
See that movie, guys. And
that was my number 4 movie of the year.
Ryan Gosling is my favorite working actor today. Everybody knows he's my boy. I fucking love him.
He was nominated for the wrong movie, though.
But he was nominated for the wrong movie.
Should have been Nice Guys.
It should have been The Nice Guys. But I'm glad he got nominated for La La Land. I think he's very underappreciated in that film.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize. His character is there to propel Emma Stone, and hence why she won. But I think his character was very important. People underestimate that, and I gravitated more towards Sebastian than Mia. But I would have been I would have been fantastically surprised if Viggo Mortensen would have won or Denzel. But so we get to the big craziness of last night.
Wow.
Best Picture nominations. So we have Arrival, we have Fences, we have Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, Moonlight. So I'll say this is an impressive collective Best Picture category. I think it's a very strong category. I think they got most picks right, I think.
Yeah.
I would have dropped 10 figures for something else, like Nocturnal Animals, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. Or Sing Street. No, I would have loved Sing Street to be in there. Or Deadpool.
That would have been Deadpool should have been just give it the nomination.
Just give it the nominations at least. I think Deadpool
and Ryan Reynolds should have been nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, I would not have been upset if he would have been nominated at all. Yeah. So Best Picture, and I wasn't watching. Like I was following along on Twitter and highlights and like live watch parties and stuff, but I wasn't actually watching the awards last night.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tweeted one thing after the announcement was made. The tweet sends, and then Twitter has all the new tweets, and then everybody's freaking the fuck out. And I'm listening to the watch party, they're freaking out. I was like, and then I see it. Fucking Warren Beatty. Well, actually, it's not Warren
his
Beatty.
fault. Not his fault. We got to make that clear.
So I don't know if this has an official scandal title yet. I'm calling it Oscar Gate, but I think that's not very original. But yeah, so we don't know. We're still looking. Was it Emma? Was it Leo? Was it what's her face? The woman involved in all of it. Who knows? But so if you did not watch the Oscars, it was announced that La La Land won Best Picture. only to be revealed that was a mistake.
Yeah.
La La Land was not the winner.
They gave their speech and everything.
They gave their speech and everything. Moonlight is in fact the real Best Picture winner.
Yeah.
Because of some envelope snafu.
So since you didn't watch it, so they gave Warren Beatty the envelope. He gets up there, he opens it, and there's a long pause, and everybody thinks he's just building tension, and he's looking at us like,
because La La Land was Bulba, it said Emma Stone, and
he's
he was like,
they gave me the wrong envelope. I hope that La La Land won, because I'm just going to go with it and say La La Land won. And then he's like, after they told him, he's like, son of a bitch. So he came out and he shows like, this is the envelope they gave me. You guys thought I was just building dramatic tension. I knew they gave me the wrong envelope, but it was crazy.
Yeah, but then people are saying though, I've been following it, and people say, what if Leo did some switcheroo-ness because I don't know, Leo has nothing better to do, I guess.
Yeah.
And then but then it said Emma Stone, because it said that Warren Beatty has an envelope that says Best Supporting Actress. I guess there were two of them, because Emma Stone said she was holding that envelope, or was she holding the Best Picture envelope?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But Moonlight is the Best Picture winner, and I'm so happy. All I've been saying is La La Land was gonna win it, but I said Moonlight deserves it, because La La Land is a very of the time film, and I think if it would have won, I think it would have been one of those films 10 years from now we would have been thinking, should Moonlight have won it? You did not like Moonlight all that much.
I think it's the most overrated film of the year. I don't like that movie.
I don't want to get too much into it, but in under 60 seconds, give me your problems and I will rebut them, and that's all we will talk about them, because I just got to know.
To all the people out there on YouTube last night who were saying I was racist just because I didn't like Moonlight, go fuck yourself. I got to get that out of the way first.
No,
so this movie, I think it's one of those things where just the more praise it got, the more I hated it, because I saw the movie and initially I'm like, okay, that was a movie, whatever. But then, like, everyone's like, "Oh, Mahershala Ali is like the greatest actor in this." I'm like, he was barely in it, and I thought he was just there. And it was like, this is gonna win Best Picture. I'm like, did I see this? Did I see the same movie you guys did? Okay, so here's my problems with it. So, I didn't care about this character at all.
Okay,
I didn't care about him at all. And it kept switching, from like the first act, the second act, and the third act. I was like, well, maybe. By the time I was starting to care about him as a young kid, it switched to him as a teenager. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll start caring about him as a teenager. And right then it switched to him as an adult. And I never cared about a single moment in his life long enough for me to fully immerse myself in this character. And again, it's not the social implicating in this. I think that part of it is really powerful.
You just don't agree with the execution.
I don't agree with the execution. I don't think that the directing is anything spectacular. I think that I've seen better directing, and I'm not saying it's bad. I've just seen better directing from a lot of other films. I think that the guy who directed 10 Cloverfield should have been nominated over Barry Jenkins. And I don't think that the acting, besides Mahershala Ali, who is even in his own mediocre in this film, is anything impressive at all.
Okay.
Now tell me why I'm wrong.
So I'm not gonna be one of those people, because film is subjective. You're entitled to your opinion, and I respect your opinion because you are one person that you can say why you think these things. Yeah. So I'm not one of those people. I'm not gonna yell at you. All I will say is I will ask you a couple questions and then I will rebut you real quick. One,
super quick. I had Moonlight as my 37th best film of the year.
Okay, which isn't super low.
Yeah, but every other film nominated is way higher than it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Even Hidden Figures, I had higher.
So Moonlight.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
This is why I think you're wrong. So okay, acting wise, I think the standout performance did not get nominated. I think it is the one that plays Teenage Chiron, who is Ashton Saunders. I think he was easily the best performance of that film.
Out of all the performances in the movie, I thought his was the best.
And then I love Janelle Monáe and I love Mahershala Ali. I didn't think he should have won for it. However, so Moonlight, the thing, it is hard to care for his character because you don't get you don't get let in through him. And I think that's what makes the film so special. What it's about is, I mean, it is a character study, but it's about how the environment and the events around his life shape him. Because we don't get who Chiron is from Chiron. We don't. We get it from everything happening to him. And I think that's what makes this film so special. It's a very intimate film. I feel like I'm watching someone's memory or something. Like, because it's very simple. It's straightforward. I think it's visually stunning. I love the score as well. I think Barry Jenkins, he's very straightforward with his writing. I think he pulled off what Richard Linklater wanted to do with Boyhood. I think he did it better this is better than Boyhood. As far as going on a lifetime journey with someone. I think he pulled it off better. Yeah, Boyhood's fine. I respect the achievement, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But so that's all I'll say about Moonlight is because I think, my question was, have you seen this a second time?
It's one of those films, like, I have to see this a second time because I don't get why everybody loves this movie so much.
See, and I think I love movies like that. I've appreciated movies that the rewatch is very important to, because like I think the more you revisit a movie, if it grows on you more, you learn new things. Like that's what keeps engaging. That's how a movie stays memorable. And I think that's where Moonlight stands out, because the first time I saw it, I really liked it, but I did not love it. I went on, I was like, okay, I thought the third act was a little weak.
Yeah. It's that part in the diner. It was kind of boring, actually.
No. But then I don't know what it is. I don't know what was different the second time I saw it. I saw it with Tyler, and he was watching it for the first time, so I always like doing that as well, like watching people's reactions if I've seen it already.
Yeah.
So we're watching it, and I just loved it so much more. Everything felt so much deeper, and it hit me a lot harder. The storytelling did the second time around, and the third act, it's so subtle that it's almost nothing. Like that's how subtle the third act is. It's so that I think the diner, the scene where he plays the song, there is so much happening with nothing at all happening. And I know that sounds very like maybe artsy or pretentious or something, but I think Moonlight is it's a special film. I think it really is. And was so happy that it ended up winning Best Picture. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. So, because opinions are like castles, guys. Everybody has them, especially with me and Andrew, like, movie people like us. So, yeah, no, I'm not here to yell at you. And guys, Andrew is not fucking racist. I mean, I'm a black guy, and we have collaborated multiple times by now. We're friends, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
So, Andrew is not racist, YouTube.
Thanks.
Calm down.
Yeah. And we didn't mention it, but the picture that should have won Best Picture is Arrival, for me.
I would have also been happy if Arrival would have won.
Yeah.
I knew for a fact it wasn't going to, just because it's sci-fi.
Not a chance.
I mean, I think
I don't think there's ever been a sci-fi film to win Best Picture. The closest is a horror film.
Did Avatar win Best Picture?
No, it did not.
Okay. That would have been my only one, even though I don't really like it. But
Star Wars didn't even win.
I'm glad that Arrival got nominated, because they're starting to recognize sci-fi a little bit more, and I think the next step will be horror, because I'm a horror guy. I love horror films.
Actually, horror has won more Best Pictures. Exorcist.
Yeah, but that's like back in the day, though. I think
horror, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. I just think people have been saying, is horror dead? No, it's not dead. You are just watching the wrong horror films.
Yeah.
Modern horror is coming back, like, really strong, and I thought maybe The Witch could have been a horror movie that could have... The Vivitch. I think that could have slipped in there and got some Oscar praise. So we're pretty much transitioning into the last segment of the show, guys, is we're just going to talk about some movies that should have gotten some more Oscar praise that did not. So I already mentioned The Witch, even though I didn't love The Witch as much as people did. But I thought that would have been like the horror movie to like kind of bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But so what is your first movie that did not get as much love or any love?
Sing Street. That's the one. We've said it a bunch of times,
yes.
So I'll just say Sing Street. Then 10 Cloverfield Lane didn't get a single. John Goodman should have been nominated. Like, he should have won. He was so good. And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead should have been nominated as well for best. I guess you could call her best lead, but best lead was so stacked this year.
Best lead was stacked. There was no way she was getting in.
Yeah.
I thought she had an outside chance, maybe, but
Eye in the Sky, possibly a supporting role for Aaron Paul, maybe, because he kills it. The big one everybody's complaining about is Deadpool, though.
Yeah,
everybody's complaining that Deadpool didn't get a nomination,
and everybody thought it was going to. It was kind of picking up some steam. They were doing some campaigning, And I thought it was gonna sneak in there as well, but Eye in the Sky I still need to get to because a lot of people love that film.
Yeah.
And I love Helen Mirren, so I need to watch that film. But yeah, Sing Street was my number one film for most of the year until Arrival came out, and then Nocturnal Animals knocked off Arrival.
Yeah.
But so Sing Street was my number one movie for a long time. And I was like, there's no way, like, this is the definition of a feel-good movie. There's no way that people aren't going to latch on to this movie. I thought the word of mouth was maybe going to work it out, but the company, the Weinstein Company, did not help this film whatsoever. It would have at least gotten Song of the Year easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with Sing Street. Sing Street could have racked up a few of them. One of my big picks is, I mean, I'll stop talking about Nocturnal Animals, even though I think I do. I think Nocturnal Animals is just crazy movie experience on a visual and a storytelling level, I think.
Yeah.
Where did you have that out of curiosity?
Nocturnal Animals?
Yes.
It's pretty high up there, man. I think it's in the teens. So.
I saw that one 3 times in theaters. That's the most I've seen a movie in theaters this year. I saw that one 3 times.
I saw Arrival 5 times.
I mean, you're staring at the poster right now because
I love it.
They saw how many times I came there. The Moxie people were like, hey, you want this poster? I was like, yes, I do. But yeah, I think it could have gotten a few more awards, but it's just too weird, and I get that. The Oscars still don't like weird, I would say.
Yeah.
But 20th Century Women, I didn't see it until after 2016 concluded, so I couldn't really put it on my 2016 list since I didn't technically see it in that year. And I wish I did. It would have made my top 5. Like, if I added it to my list right now, I think 20th Century Women would be my number 4 movie.
And I missed that one.
Man, this movie hit me in just all the right spots. I already did a podcast last week talking about 20th Century Women, so I won't spend too much time, but it only had 1 nomination for screenplay, which I would have been happy if it would have won for original screenplay. It's a very simple movie. It's just a movie about a mom trying to raise her son, and he doesn't have any male role models, but he has other female role models. So it just begs the question, does it take a man to raise a man? Can women raise a man? And it's an acting movie. It's all character driven, the relationships. Check that movie out.
I will definitely do it.
It's a real feel good movie, and I thought that would have been a movie that people would have latched onto as well, especially for the strong the feminist movement this year, especially, with the election and all that going on. I thought 20th Century Woman was a nice, it was a fresh breath of air from the usual feminist, things you hear.
Because, as everybody knows, the Oscars is very political.
Yes, the Oscars are very political, and I thought it would have helped the film. I thought that would have lent itself well. But 20th Century Women is up there as well, and then you mentioned 10 Cloverfield Lane. I would have given it John Goodman. I think that probably. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's she's on my wifey list. I love her. But let me see. I'm looking at my board right now. This is so much easier than trying to look up on my phone.
Well, while you're looking, just real quick, original screenplay has to go to Swiss Army Man. Give it a nomination.
It's the most original movie. That and The Lobster, I think, are 2 of the most original movies that you'll watch this year.
Yeah.
Swiss Army Man. I did love Swiss Army Man. That was in my top 15. I really did like Swiss Army Man. I thought Daniel Radcliffe could have pulled out supporting actor nomination.
Yeah, or Paul Dano.
Either one, but I think Daniel Radcliffe acting as a corpse is not as easy as it sounds, and what they did with his character I thought was really interesting. But my last one out there is another one that I love in my top 5 is Don't Breathe. Man,
I don't think it's Oscar worthy though.
As the directing, I think, is so good, and I know for as stacked as Best Director was this year, I think what Fede Alvarez did with that film, in working out the script on, he horror-proofed this film. I like it when horror films. I think Get Out kind of did that this past weekend. Sorry.
That's crazy good.
It's so good. Fucking, oh man, I loved Get
Jordan
Out so
Peele
much.
has got some horror chops to him.
Man, I could do I'm either gonna do a video or a podcast on Get Out because there's too much to talk about. But anyways, I think Don't Breathe, very similar to it. Horror Proof, the film. The writing is so good. They give you reasons to like kind of switch around and reverse classic horror tropes. I think the performances are great. I think the camera work is great. How they foreshadowed everything in like the first few shots of the film, and then you see them play out. And I mean, of course, the fucking turkey baster scene. If you haven't heard or seen this,
so cringeworthy,
man,
in a good way. Like,
I mean, that is what watching horror movies in the theater is all about. And again, Get Out was a similar experience.
Did you see that one with us?
No,
oh, okay.
I saw Don't Breathe with one of my coworkers, and I saw it on Friday night, and it was like one of the late showings too, but it was packed. And that is why I go to the movie theaters. I mean, you hear people's gasping and gagging and just, oh my goodness, like it was so good. Like that scene is, I think, one of the best horror scenes of all time. I'll put it up there. So I think Don't Breathe could have garnered some sort of attention, but that'll be the last one I talk about.
I have Don't Breathe higher than Moonlight.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, on my list wise, I think I do have Don't Breathe above Moonlight because I don't really change it. Like I kind of go with my list is like really more my initial thoughts on a film. Like I don't really move it around too much after that. I try not to. Yeah. Unless I see it again, then I can it's free to move up and down.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm kind of weird with my list. But yeah, Andrew, was there anything else from the Oscars that you'd like to talk about?
It's not really about any film, but I think that Jimmy Kimmel killed it. He was a phenomenal host. His whole Matt Damon thing that he was doing throughout the night, I love that whole fake feud that they have. And the fact that they brought that to the Oscars was brilliant.
See, I still need to see a highlights video or something because I still haven't. I worked all day today. Yeah, I worked all day today, and then I didn't have time to watch beforehand.
Do you know about the whole Jimmy Kimmel?
I mean, I was following along at what was going on.
But do you watch the Jimmy Kimmel Live?
No.
So ever since the show started, he's had this feud with Matt Damon, and Matt Damon's like tried to sneak onto the show, and Jimmy Kimmel's like, "Okay, you're not going to be on the show. I don't like you."
Okay.
So at the Oscars, they were totally making fun of Matt Damon all night. Like whenever Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were like presenting an award, he would like say, the announcer would be like, "And introducing to the stage Ben Affleck and guest."
I was confused on why Matt Damon was coming up so much on Twitter because I wasn't watching, so I didn't see it. I'm not a big Jimmy Kimmel fan. I wanted Fallon. If a Jimmy was gonna host the Oscars, I wanted Jimmy Fallon to host it. He was my pick, and because I think Jimmy Kimmel's fine. But from what I hear, people loved him. I can't really attest to it.
So good.
But apparently he did really good, but it's also kind of surprising. Apparently this year's Oscars are the lowest ratings they've had in like 20 years.
Honestly, I think they could have had Chris Rock back. He killed it. Was it 2016 that he did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
Chris Rock, I thought was fantastic. I really wanted, because there were rumors they were going to try a duo again, and I thought Key and Peele would have been fantastic. I thought they would have crushed the Oscars. They would have crushed it.
Key and Peele get
especially
Amy Poehler
with especially with the way that the end of the year wrapped up in 2016. Yeah. And I mean, Key and Peele had just finished their show. I think they had Keanu, Keegan-Michael Key had Don't Think Twice, which
where was that nominated?
I didn't really like it, but I know a lot of people did.
I liked it.
But yeah, so I thought Key and Peele would have been a just like killer pick, but maybe they'll try a duo next year because I think the duo, if you get the right duo, would work chemistry so well. But they've chosen bad duos. Like I love James Franco to death. Don't put him with Anne Hathaway. She's so awful.
Bad.
I blame Anne Hathaway. I love James Franco.
Yeah.
But so I still need to give my fair grade on Jimmy Kimmel. But anything else you'd like to shout out?
I had fun. Again, it was craziness that Suicide Squad has an Oscar and that they gave the Best Picture to La La Land, and I felt it was so awkward, man. It was so awkward. They gave their speech, they were so happy, and then they're like, Moonlight won. And it was because just having to watch everybody get up on stage and then have to go back to their seats and clap for somebody else.
I mean, you talk about, looking forward to something all year. I mean, and you think it's your moment. I mean, it sucks. Like, I feel so bad for the La La Land crew. And if they would have won, I would have been happy with it. I would have been like, yeah, La La Land, fine. But But my biggest thing is not only do I want to discredit La La Land, 'cause it kind of sucked and was embarrassing for them, but it's like I don't want people to put an asterisk next to Moonlight on its win, because I think it fully deserved to win the award. It just sucks that it had to win that way, and that it's just the way it looks, and people are like, people think it was like rigged or think it was politics, or because I mean that would have made sense.
It was a mistake,
but it was a mistake. People are reading way too much into it, and I mean then people were tweeting, "Not my Oscars," and just oh man,
dumb people.
So that's my final thought is, guys, whatever you're going to take away from the awards, just don't let it, because I don't think it's a scandal. It literally is a mistake. I just think it's funny that we literally still can't explain how it happened.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope it never is actually explained. I want to be 15 years later, a Hollywood story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Andrew, where can the good people find you?
You can head over to youtube.com/flickfreaks. This week we're going to be posting Let's Plays for Horizon Zero Dawn. We're also doing more Walking Dead stuff, more reaction videos, more film reviews. But the place I really want to start sending people is over at Sif Pop, what Aaron and I do on iTunes. This week, what Sif Pop is, it's a podcast. Aaron Dicer and I, he's a actual real life movie critic. He goes to the Critics' Choice Awards.
Oh yeah, I had Aaron on a few weeks ago. You guys remember Aaron? That was a super solid episode. And I guest on Sif Pop. I've been on 3 times now, so I'm like I'm an official guru.
You were one of our favorite gurus. Actually, we were talking about you the other day. But head over to Sift Pop and listen to our podcast. This week we're going to be talking Logan. Our guru is CinemaSins. It's a YouTube channel you may have heard of. They only have like 6 or 7 million subscribers. Is it going to be
Jeremy?
Chris, and then Barrett's going to be on the next week for Kong Skull Island.
Oh, that's awesome, man! I can't wait for Logan.
Everybody's saying that it may be like one of the best superhero movies ever made.
I'm already.
I don't want to get too hyped up though.
I'm trying not to, but I'm planning my cry. Like I'm ready to just. Oh man.
Oh, the send off, the farewells to Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman.
It's gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to handle it. I know it. I've gotten so emotional with films lately. Like I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
Do you want to hear?
Great.
I know we're pressed for time, but you want to hear my
go for it.
My conspiracy theory?
Yes.
I think that Hugh Jackman is going to be in one more Marvel movie. You know what I think it is? Infinity War. I think that Fox is going to, for one thing, I think that Hugh Jackman's going to be in Avengers Infinity War. I really believe it in my heart that they're going to make it happen.
I could see that happening because I think Fox...
Or Deadpool 2.
I think Fox is a smart franchise, and Apocalypse was a bit of a misstep.
Sucked.
I didn't hate it.
I hated it.
I can definitely say it was a misstep for the franchise. They also don't want to start from scratch, and they're kind of trying to do this like revamping. They have like new characters coming in and stuff. Great, but they're not like starting over. So it's like on one hand, I think that would be awesome because, I mean, who doesn't want to see Wolverine alongside the Avengers? I mean, everybody's just heart would explode, and the only person to do it would be Hugh Jackman. I don't want them to do it with another Wolverine.
No.
I don't want them to recast this role, and that's where I'm also, I hope he's done. He has put in his time. He has put in his life to this role. He has put his body on the line for this role. I mean, and I can't, I could see other people playing Wolverine. I just don't want to. I think we have so many other X-Men characters. I hope they retire his character and we move on.
He's been doing it for 18 years, something like that?
For 18 years. 1999 was when, or 2000 was when the first was released. So yeah, he's been, and he's done, Logan's his 10th. That's his 10th appearance as Wolverine, I believe. 9th or 10th. But I think let's see another central character. Let's put someone else in front of the franchise and move forward with it.
Yeah, but what?
That's my feelings about Gambit now.
He's my favorite Marvel
I fucking love Gambit. I love Channing Tatum. I don't think Channing Tatum should be Gambit.
He's not gonna.
But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, sorry,
as well.
I didn't mean to take
No, you're fine. I just, because Gambit is my favorite X-Men. And it is crushing my heart that it is going through development hell right now.
Yeah.
And so that's all we'll say about that. But yeah, pump for Logan. That's what we're getting back on track here.
Yeah.
Pump for Logan. Check out Sif Pop. There we go.
Yes.
But yeah, for sure, guys. Check out Sif Pop. Like I said, I pop up on there from time to time. Yeah. But Andrew and Aaron, they really know their shit. You guys have been like my Obi-Wan and who would you be? Qui-Gon, I guess.
So I'm gonna die? Oh no, Darth Maul's gonna kill me.
So that would be you guys to me currently. I'm following in your footsteps.
I'm okay with Aaron being Qui-Gon because he's taught me. So
there we go.
And that means that I get to live and I get to be Obi-Wan.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll see what on the next Sif Pop we'll have Aaron weigh in on this on where it's at. But yeah, check out Sif Pop. Check out Andrew Flick Freaks. Where you at on subscribers right now?
30. I think we're close to 37,000 on YouTube.
He's going, guys. Like, I mean, your channel is growing so fast. I love it.
Trying to make it happen, man.
Yeah, so check out Flick Freaks on Twitter and YouTube and Sif Pop. And you guys know where to find me on Twitter at Deezus12, Instagram Deezus12, Facebook Deezus12, and guess what? My YouTube also now is Deezus12. Everything is the same, finally.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yes, because I would always be like, okay, my YouTube channel is Deezus Live, and my Instagram is this, and I'm just like, everything. Instagram is still technically Deezus.12, but I mean, I'm the only one that's active, so you can find me. And make sure you check out the show. It is on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play Music. It's on a bunch of other stuff. Really, just Google Deezus Take the Reel. Really, you can just Google Deezus, because besides Little Dicky's song, I'm the only Deezus on the internet right now. So yeah, make sure you check out the show. 5-star reviews, and 5-star reviews, iTunes, and you'll get a shout out on the show. I'm running out of things to talk about. Just listen to the rest of my song. Bye.